It is my great pleasure and honor to introduce our guest speaker this morning, a truly dear friend of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno, California. Christine Hadid is a professional community organizer with the Industrial Areas Foundation, the nation's oldest and largest grassroots organizing network. Christine began her work organizing in Tulsa, Oklahoma, where she helped launch the city's first statewide tenant association. And then, lucky for us, in 2024, she moved to Fresno to support local leaders, including members of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno, to assist us in building a new IAF affiliate representing California's Central Valley. That affiliate will officially launch under the name United San Joaquin, Unido San Joaquin, at our founding convention on May 3rd. Raised in a low-income, multi-ethnic, Black, Palestinian, and white family, Christine brings a deep commitment to pluralism, social justice, and building relationships across lines of difference to create the common good. Please give a warm welcome to Christine Hadid.
Thank you so much, and good morning. This is my second time guest preaching here at the Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno, and I'm very humbled and excited to be with you guys today. When Reverend Tim told me that today's theme would be embracing possibility, one thought immediately popped into my mind: Disney World. Raise your hand if you've ever been to Disneyland or Disney World. Oh, lots of people. Yeah? So I went to Disney World for the first time at the tender young age of 33, just a few years ago, and it was amazing. My favorite part was Harry Potter World. You walk in, and suddenly you're not in Florida anymore. There are castles and spells and secret passageways and butterbeer. It's a magical place where anything feels possible. And yet, it's not real. It's a theme park. Eventually, you gotta come home with hundreds of dollars drained from your bank account. And real life feels a little different. And I think this captures something important about the nature of possibility. We often relate possibility to imagination. After all, embracing possibility starts with having big dreams and imagination, being visionary, and having great ideas. There are countless books and TED Talks describing possibilities for a better world, a world with clean air, food, and water, schools that nurture all children, safe, walkable communities, dignified work, and free healthcare for all, a world of beauty, peace, and human flourishing. Can you imagine that? I can. And yet, here in the US, those ideas feel almost like a magical fantasy, don't they? They're far from our lived reality. The truth is that most of our great ideas that we dream up never happen. We live in a moment where even basic ideas for what's possible, like everyone having an affordable place to live, feel as distant as flying cars and autonomous robots. And actually, I think we're pretty close to having autonomous robots. But it's not because those things are impossible. In fact, they exist in other countries. But they may feel impossible for us because our political and civic systems are so fractured that we can't even imagine the path to get from here to there. So we grow discouraged and apathetic. We may dream and talk about our dreams, but we don't build the world we envision. And in the meantime, things grow worse and worse. Am I making any of this up, or does this resonate? So clearly, fully embracing possibility requires more than just imagination. It requires a commitment to creation. Now, I think of inventors as masters of possibility. They imagine things that don't yet exist, and then they create them. But there's a story about two inventors that reveals something important about how possibility becomes social reality. The inventors' names are Nikola Tesla and Thomas Edison. Both men were working on the same question. How do we harness electricity to power the modern world? Tesla, by many accounts, was the more visionary thinker. He was generations ahead of his time. Among many other things, he developed alternating current, or AC, technology, an efficient way to transmit electricity over long distances. Edison, meanwhile, promoted direct current technology, a system we now know was more limited and less efficient than AC. So you might think, well, if Tesla had the better idea, his idea would win that debate easily, right? But that's not what happened. Something else was at play. There were two key differences in how each of these men operated. Tesla preferred to work alone. He was a bit of a reclusive genius. And I imagine he might not have had much patience for those who weren't as forward-thinking and brilliant as he was. And he struggled to implement his ideas at scale. Edison, on the other hand, assembled teams of scientists to work with him in his Menlo Park laboratory. He built companies which would eventually become General Electric that could refine, produce, and distribute his inventions to a large marketplace. Edison was a builder of institutions. And so, during what became known as the War of the Currents, a public battle to see whose idea for harnessing electricity would dominate, Edison, despite having the less efficient idea, was winning. His vision was becoming social reality. And something helped to shift that tide. Tesla sold his AC patent to another inventor, a businessman named George Westinghouse. And this guy knew how to build institutions and scale them. When Westinghouse incorporated Tesla's idea into his power companies, its advantages became undeniable. AC technology spread rapidly and the industry followed. The modern electrical grid that we rely on today was born, built on Tesla's idea. So what can we learn from that story? It's that even the most brilliant ideas on their own are not enough to alter our social reality. To fully embrace possibility means embracing institutions. Now, at this point, some of you might be thinking, wait. Aren't institutions part of the problem? And to that I say, absolutely. Many institutions have caused great harm. We've seen abuse and discrimination within religious institutions, government overreach and bureaucracy that stifles progress, leadership structures where a few voices dominate and others are silenced, and corporations that put reckless profit over the well-being of people. Distrust in institutions is not irrational. Even at their best, institutions are slow to change and can be frustrating to work within, especially if they're operating democratically. Many of us respond by abandoning institutions after having bad experiences. We say the costs just aren't worth it. I'm going to do this by myself. and therein lies a predicament. Institutions are deeply flawed, and yet they are also the primary way that humans come together to build anything that lasts. We have more evidence of this. If you look at any major transformation in society, institutions were at the center. The civil rights movement wasn't just a collection of individuals. It was powered by institutions like the NAACP, the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, Black fraternities and sororities, and the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, which was made up primarily of Black churches, but also included Unitarian Universalist ministers and congregants. Together, but in their own different ways, these and many other institutions built trust, solidarity, and shared identity between their members. They developed new leaders. They created shared vision and strategy and sustained long-term effort. And yet, when we learn the history of the civil rights movement, it often centers individuals. We learn a lot about the importance of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., but not so much about the role of the Black church. We see images of people showing up to marches, but not the institutions that coordinated those people and the strategies to make them effective. In his book, Bowling Alone, sociologist Robert Putnam documents how the decline of civic institutions has weakened our democracy and our ability to act together. Our valid frustration with the ways institutions fall short has led us to become more disconnected, isolated, and polarized as a society, and paralyzed in the face of mounting pressures. Earlier, Lori gave an example of how one sheet of paper is easy to tear, but a stack of paper is very strong. Yet even a thick stack of paper, if it's loose, can be easily scattered by the wind. And as she described, what makes a stack of paper hold together is a binding. Strong institutions are like the binding of a book with many sheets of paper. They hold people together through common purpose, a shared mission, relationships, shared money and resources, and mutual commitments to each other. Without that strong binding, even large crowds of people can become easily scattered, divided, and chaotic. And we see that evidence in our own communities. So how do we hold both these truths? That institutions, on the one hand, can limit possibility, but on the other hand, we need them to create possibility. It's not a paradox that we can solve. It's a tension that we have to accept and grapple with. Embracing institutions doesn't mean pretending that they're perfect, nor does it mean that every single one of them is redeemable or worth being a part of. It does mean that if you want to go beyond dreaming and talking about possibilities to creating them, it's important to belong to an institution. And I must say, you all belong to an incredible institution here at the UU Church of Fresno. Fully participating in an institution means being in relationship with others, listening to their personal experiences and perspectives like you all have in your one-on-ones and house meetings. It means showing up even when there are those that you deeply disagree with. It means working to hold your institution accountable to its mission, and on the flip side, being open to being held accountable yourself. It means being a source of collaboration, not just a voice of critique. Thinking independently can help us envision a world that doesn't yet exist. But thinking institutionally is essential for sharing and shaping a common vision and acting together to make it a social reality. And as you all have learned, it just so happens that for the past several years, a group of leaders from across the Central Valley, including here at this UU congregation, have been doing just that. They've been building something new, a sustainable, lasting, community-based institution made up of more institutions. You might think of it as a super institution. And it now has the formal name United San Joaquin, Unidos San Joaquin. It's an organization where congregations, schools, unions, and other community groups are coming together to create and act upon a shared vision for what's possible in the Central Valley. That vision includes safer streets and transportation, stronger schools, affordable housing, economic opportunity, quality health care for everyone, and a community where people from all backgrounds can feel like they belong. All of these things are possible, but they won't happen simply because we imagine them. They will happen, if they happen, because people like you commit to building and negotiating for them together through powerful and coordinated institutions. So, my invitation to you is simple. If you truly believe in possibility, don't just imagine it, don't just wish for it. Participate within your institution to help make it a social reality. And you can join your fellow UU members and invite others to be part of that, along with many other institutions in our community, by showing up in solidarity for our founding convention on May 3rd. There, together, we'll embrace and celebrate this new, broad, diverse, and powerful people's institution and the possibility it offers for turning our shared dreams into reality. And I also hope to see you there.